Good evening, everyone. This video is going to be a trading review and support session for May the 10th, 2023. Today was CPI day, right? So it was a volatile pre-market, and it's a pretty high volume day as well. So traded it like a high volume day. So let's just go through kind of like the this is today, so I see we had pretty big ranges today. Just wanted to go through the London Open. London opened about here, and they initially brought it down, right? And CPI data was coming in at 5:30, which is about here. And there was some, there were some glimpses of, it's not major, right? You really had to look into it. Not major reductions in inflationary pressure, but some, and in maybe a sense it's only some is the reason why the market is so up and down. So it did end up being an up day, but not before it really kind of got a little bit crazy in both directions. So there was the 5:30. Okay, so just in a couple of minutes. All right, so there's 5:31, right? So it's already, that's 1 minute. And here is, well, let's just kind of go through. I mean, from there all the way to the top in about 45 minutes, but there really is the big spike from 5:30 to 5:43, and then a little bit slower to make the daily high, global, the pre-market high. All right, so and then here's the open, initially up and then big down. So we'll get into that in just a minute because they kind of caught me there a little bit. And so here's the open, right? And we're relatively up at this point, right? So let me get my pen working. So we let it come up, so it's coming down. It didn't, they were in kind of a good mood, so I didn't really want to go short. So they're breaking back through the EMA. So here's my first long trade. Here's my second long trade at about here, and then my third long trade almost immediately after that. All right, so 3 quick long trades, and I'm feeling pretty good. So then, it's time for it to pull back. Even though it's early, it was kind of active overnight, but it's in the EMA band, and it kind of pulled back. And so I felt a little bit too good about this upside. So I go long here, right? It was still with the market, but I want to talk about this just a minute, right? So Slowflex is up. The Ultraflex has started to turn up. You can see the bars are cyan. We're above the 3-minute moving average. So everything looks okay. But here's the problem, and this catches me every now and then, right? So here's the top, and it's already pulled back. Now sometimes it's going to come up here and at least try to test this 3-minute high, right? And it didn't do a very good job today. But especially after you got 3 trades in this direction, and I even said, okay, three trades in that direction, but I pushed the button anyway because it looked like it might want to go up, and I had room to get out of the trade well before, or before it got up to the 3-minute high, but that's not the way it went. All right, so it pulls back some more. I did that so we could see what's going on. So I added one here, right? Pulled back to the EMA and close to the minute average. Little pop here. So I said, okay, well, I'll try to get out earlier. Well, that didn't quite work. So then it came back down for another hit at the minute average, and they're still trying a little bit, right? So a little pop here, but I waited until they got past the EMA and the 2x20 again. If I had added one right here, right, which if I was really bullish, maybe I could have, would have, should have, then I may have been out a little bit sooner, right? But as it is, right now I've got 3, right? And I do get out of 1. I got out of 1 at this level. It hit the level for my second one, but it didn't fill. If I had gotten out of 2, I would have been in, much better shape. I'm not sure the end of the day would have been any better, but this particular trade and then maybe subsequent trades would have been a little bit better. All right, so at this point I had 3, I'm out 1, I've got 2 long. And they slammed me here. Should I have reversed at this point? Probably not. Right? Should I have reversed before I did? Probably. Right? So it does break down, right, through the minute average again, the 3 minute, the 2x20, and here's the pivot, right? So there's the pivot level, right, at that point, and it comes down and it breaks that. So, and it's kind of coming into the open, right? And so really at this particular point in time, right, anywhere in there would have been either a better close or a reverse. And then, I was kind of hoping, waiting to see if the open was going to hold it. But I mean, this is a high volume day, pretty volatile, and then they slammed me down, right? So I was counting on a pop, so I didn't have a stop working at that particular point in time. So now I'm wondering what the heck is going on, and now I'm at the mid or 2 or 3 or something like that, and it goes again. I say, okay, so this is bad. So I don't reverse until here, right? Until that bar shows up. If I had reversed anywhere in here, it would have been probably better. I don't necessarily like to reverse, especially in the EMA band. Still relatively early in the day, but I don't really like to reverse the EMA band because sometimes it pops back up, but everything is rolling over. So I do end up reverse, and then I have 2. So now I got 2 short, and I add 1 to it. All right, so I get out of 1 relatively soon, just in case this 4 pivot holds. And then I don't want to hold forever, right? So I get out of the 5-minute moving average, so the other 2. So I got out. So at this point, I'm flat. So I was up 3, but after all that move, carrying a couple, now I'm down, I don't know, about 9. I didn't even write it down. I just recalled I was down about 9 points gross at that particular point in time. So now, now as I said, I'm in a little bit of revenge mode, and I'm not going to keep track of exactly where I'm at in terms of profit. I think I know about where I had reasonable profit because I slowed down my trading at that point. So let me just go forward. And I said, hey, I'm kind of in revenge mode here. So let's see. There's trade there, trade here, right? Another pretty, and these are kind of like okay. We're still underneath the the Ultraflex is still coming down. We're still underneath the Ultraflex, and this one was maybe it's not bad. I did let it come back up to R1, and yesterday's high is right there, right, to act as resistance. It just didn't go at that particular point, but it's a little aggressive, right? I took it a little bit above Ultraflex, right? Let it come back up to the daily bias. It looked like daily bias wanted to hold it, so I added 1 there, right? And then came up to mid R2, I guess is what it is. I think it's mid R2. And then had some selling here, right, in an expansion. So I added number 3 here, right, and then it still didn't quite go soon, but then I got a little help and got out with profit there. All right, so at this point I'm still down, of course, right? Moving the chart over. So let's see. So I'm out of the 3 there, right? Took a short here, and I'm out here, right? So that one was okay, I'm in 650. Nothing is looking too good right here. Let's see. Where did I take? Here it is. All right. So another trade. I'm in a little bit of revenge mode. Here's the short that I took. It looked like the 3-minute close was holding. It looks like I coulda, woulda, shoulda gotten out. Let me see what's going on here. What this short was about 652, 55. Let me go to my trading short. Why didn't I get out? Was I close to getting out? I'm scrolling back a little bit. All right. So I got. Oh, hang on. $51.15. Did I mark $51.15? I don't think it did. So that's why it looks the way it does. So at 651.15 here, that's where I started this trade at. No wonder. Okay. So 651.15. So that's number one. This is actually number two. So that's one. This is two. And then I got out of one there. So I'm out one here. So I'm still carrying one. So that's why it looks a little weird. If I entered there, I should have been out. And I was out one, but not two. In other words, one of those where if I'd gotten out of two, I'd be in a little bit better shape. All right, so I'm carrying one short, and then I reverse here, right? I reverse there, and I add to it, and then I'm out here. And let me see. I think, I don't remember. I might have lost 1 point or so in that whole thing or so. So I might have gone backwards a little bit, but I have improved. I'm probably at this point somewhere still down about 5-ish if I'm just guessing, looking at all my results that I have written down. And let's see. So I'm not there, and so let me continue on. So out there, still going up, take another long here, take a trade here, but I'm getting kind of between levels. I think I only took a couple of ticks worth of profit there, a little bit after 7 o'clock. Let's see, where did I take? Oh, took another trade as it's breaking back above the 3-minute moving average. This is a little bit aggressive, but I got away with it. I'm out here. Continue moving on. Bunch of trades today. I mean, a bunch. AMP should send me a thank you note. All right, so here's another multi-unit trade. So here's that big seller again, and I did let it come back to the EMA, and so here's first entry, right? Came back up here, breaking out again into the 3-minute moving average. So there's number 2, and then here's number 3 as well, and so got out of the trade there. Probably, let's see, and made profit. Got out into a really quick trade here. Made profit, so that one was okay. This was probably a little bit. Let's see. I mean, it is breaking down, but slow flex is still going up, and it's kind of this is kind of that crossing pattern, right? It's kind of that crossing pattern. Big move down underneath the EMA and a couple of ticks underneath the floor pivot. It's a little aggressive. I mean, it is aggressive. This is one of those trades. This and counting on a double top are probably my two things I need to guard against as much, as well as trying to get too aggressive in the EMA band, unless it's just like coming straight down. I mean, a lot of those trades happen today coming straight down, and or early morning kind of going up. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm out here before the minute average, and then there's that one, there's another one, there's another one. Didn't chase anything here, and I don't think I traded for. So at this point, I must be about break even or better, or maybe at that point I had paid for commissions as well, because I noticed that when I was doing the chart I had slowed my trading down. So here's, let's see, another trade that I'm out of to the short side. Another short trade, kind of got in late on that one, but out of that one. Another one short side, out of that one. And then I said, okay, well, at this point I must have been okay in terms of profit, because I took a walk, right? And every time I take a walk, you guys get a pretty good looking trade. So that trade happened, didn't get it. So I got back in time to take the follow on. All right, so this one was a little bit more aggressive, but I did end up getting one more short in this total move. Right, didn't chase it anymore, because I must be okay on profit at this point. 746. There are still more trades to go. Let's see. I actually went long here. Let's see. 753. Let me go over. Not sure if I got a full point on this trade or not. It doesn't look like I had a lot of room. 753. Yeah, I did. I mean, it doesn't look like it's got a lot of room. But I did, because I didn't get here. I got in at 375, and I was out at 475. So and I got out 475. My exit point was the maximum that it kind of went. So kind of got lucky there a little bit. Let's see. So let's see. Moving back over. I know I'm not done yet. Must not have been paying attention, because didn't take anything during there. And here's a trade. Oh, took this as it breaking back over the 2x200. Came back a little bit more, and then I'm out there. And here's one. I know it took a couple. And then one, my microphone wasn't on. I was talking, but my microphone wasn't on. This might have been that one. So took it here and only took 3 ticks. Obviously went further. I think just one more for the morning. Okay, here it is. A little bit after 8:30. So spike up, spike back down, but then they're coming back after it. So a little aggressive in here and out there. Okay, so at that particular point, wasn't done. That was my last trade of kind of like the morning area. So at that point, so last trade, I did trade a little bit more in the afternoon. At that point, I'm up 9, right? I finished the day up 12 gross, and I probably had maybe a little over 3 points, maybe between 3 and 4 points worth of commissions. So I certainly made money for amps. But from the point I was, remember at the end of that reverse trade, I was probably like down 9-ish, right? I was at -9, ended up +12. So about a 20-point turnaround, maybe 21, something in that neighborhood on a gross basis turnaround, because it was a high volume day, and they pissed me off, basically. So they made me work longer, even make me work some after 8:30. I don't remember when I really stopped trading, but I only traded a few more times, obviously. I mean, from 9 to 12. I don't think I got into any other multi-unit kind of trades. So that was kind of it. It was kind of a little bit of a wild day. Market didn't do, other than that one big reverse. Market didn't do anything really bad. And I was a little bit late on the reverse. Could have worked out a little bit better for me if I had gotten out of 2 at least instead of just 1 when I was holding 3, and would have probably been even better if I hadn't taken that, expecting it to go back up to test the double top early in the day. I mean, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. That does get me. Every now and then. I have to work on that. Alrighty. Any questions? That the artificial intelligence is a kind of a hot topic these days. It's really not. I mean, they are using it to write some code. I think all the code that we need is probably written, and so I don't know if I will do that. I chased automated programming for a long time. It's an extreme time sucker. Put it that way. And so I still may have a component or two to add to this set of indicators, mainly to say, okay, something just happened, right, that you need to pay attention to. For instance, let's go back to this reverse area where I maybe could have reversed earlier. It's very close to the open, right? All right, so let me clean the chart up. All right, and so here, right, I was hoping for a little bit more of an up move, right, and I got out of 1, but then it clearly broke down, right? It clearly broke down from this trading range area, right? And it was also aligned with the flexes. That breakdown was also aligned with the flexes. So I would kind of like something to scream at me more than just a big 5-second bar. And so I'm thinking about that, right? So with the which might get us a step closer to a visual aid other than entries on, hey, you're really on the wrong side and the market is really doing something and you need to be thinking a little bit faster. So that I'm actively thinking about. In terms of using AI software itself, I don't know. I mean, you're hearing all these things about Chat GPT and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. What I would think, and it's also very complex, is, and I haven't played with it in years and years and years, is called neural networks. Have you ever heard that term? It's kind of it actually may, in terms of mathematical kind of things, it may be kind of the engine behind artificial intelligence. I mean, this Chat GPT is literally trying to impersonate a human response, right? That's what today's artificial intelligence is, trying to interpret a human response. I don't necessarily think that is as applicable as for trading as some other programming techniques would be, like neural networks. So, I don't necessarily know that I'll anytime in the short term try to get back into that old quagmire of automated programming, because there's just so much stuff that we can see with our eyes that software can't see. So I'd like to maybe enhance one or two more things that we can see with our eyes, an event kind of a thing, that would help us before I get into any other sucker holes. So we'll see. No, I don't think anybody's using. I know some people will be using neural networks for trading. That I know. In terms of these recent chat GPT things for trading, no. Not even. No. It's just not applicable for trading. Neural networks and different mathematical models, yes. I mean, the people who have call it unlimited resources. Just spend a minute on this, right? People with unlimited resources, when I say unlimited resources, they may have a division of PhDs doing neural networks and programming and coding, and they sit on their servers. They don't push buttons, right? Their servers sit on the backbone of the exchange. So they have about a 1 millisecond delay in them receiving data, whereas we out in the world have probably a 35 millisecond delay, right? So round trip we're at 70. I mean, this is all very, very fast, right? Round trip we're at 70. Round trip they're at 2, right? So they have greater than an order of magnitude faster latency in getting data than we do. But they're and they have all sorts of other advantages. So they may be able to see and react from a machine standpoint faster than we can react with our finger. They're playing a different game. I mean, they're really big. They have seats on the exchange, which these days cost hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think a seat on the CME may be, let's call it in the range of about $500,000 right now, right? What they get you is very low commissions, right? But you've got $500,000 investment to be able to get that low commission. That's the game that they play. We're the smart. We think we're smart. We're kind of the smart retail community, right? And we're much more advanced than most. Let's put it that way. Much more advanced than most. I just need to add maybe one or two more things, just in case we get on the wrong side of the market. I like to set something other than the things that we know, something to flash or something for me. Say, hey, you're really on the wrong side of the market now, and something happened that you should consider either exiting. Other than just being on the wrong side of the market, you should consider exiting or reversing, because bigger guys than you are taking the market in the other direction, right? And I could have reversed sooner, if but I didn't, right? So I mean, this is sideways action, right? So nothing says, even here, right? Even here, nothing says give up just yet, right? But somewhere around it here, right? Let me see when these bars close. Somewhere around here, right? I could have given a, you know, I had to, you know, do a little bit of work, but somewhere around there, I could have, would have, should have reversed and are really been on the lookout when it, and then when it wasn't bouncing, right, to do it, and or there's a few things to do anyway. But that's what I'd like to look at. It would have saved, yeah, it would have saved several points, right? But this, all right. Let me. You asked good questions, so let me pontificate a little bit more. See how big this bar is, right? Why is that bar big? Well, the reason that bar is big is in all likelihood this happened so fast. It was a big bar. It wasn't because people pushed a button, right? It's probably because it had been going sideways for so long that some bigger traders, not folks like us, but some bigger traders decided to get out of their position and or reverse their position with market orders, right? So if we had had a, for instance, a reversing order, call it here, because that's probably about where it was, then we would have reversed sometime inside this bar, right, and been in far better shape. I don't necessarily try to do that. It's certainly possible on the dome, right? You just pull your stop up and either stop out, and or you could just enter in, put your stop order such that you exit long and you get short. In other words, you reverse with a stop market order instead of the reverse button. All right, does that make sense? Giving you a little, yeah, giving you a little advanced understanding there. So we may have a few of those type of things to do, because really, I mean, if we take a look at it now that I took a look like it now, and I usually try to look at this AVR, right? The AVR hadn't really, from that point on, the AVR never really picked back up to the positive side. It just stayed negative, and then built and built and built and built. But it was a big day. I mean, big volume day. It gives you lots of opportunities to come back. So the net result is I probably made a little bit more money today, net, than some average day, right? Where we maybe get 5, 6, 7 points. So I probably did better than that. So I made a little bit more money, and so did AMP. Not that I try to make money for AMP, but that's just the way the day turned out. All right, so any other questions? Okay, very good. All right, get rest. Make sure you get rid of that COVID thing for sure. And we'll see you someday this week. All right, have a good night.